Hey everybody, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 181, entitled Indie World Showcase Reactions. And I'm your host, Steve, but I am joined today by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey Steve, always a pleasure to be here.
It is. It's going to be great. Unfortunately, we don't have Greg with us today on his birthday. He decided to bail on his birthday today. So throw your happy birthday wishes down in the comments and the chat for Greg. Even though he's not here, maybe you'll see it later. But we got a lot to talk about today. We are going to be talking about the Indie World Showcase. We're going to be talking about Play NYC 2019, which Barry got a chance to go to. We're going to be talking about the Gamescom winners. We'll be talking about EA changing their tune, maybe a little bit about Switch, who knows, and a little bit about Loot Crate, because of some unfortunate news recently about Loot Crate. But before we get into all that, we got to talk about what we've been playing. So, Barry, what have you been playing recently?
Yeah, I've been playing a couple things. On top of the usual Dragalia Lost and Pokemon Go and Final Fantasy XIV, I played a couple new games on the Switch, actually. I did a little bit of Horizon Chase Turbo, which is an old school arcade racing title, like Outrun and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Very simplistic graphic style, very fast and fluid. There's a lot to that game, and I didn't play a lot into it, but I did enjoy what I did play. I then went on to play a game that I never see anyone talk about, which is sad, called Will, A Wonderful World, which is Switch and PS4, and surprisingly a physical title, which is, it's like a text-based visual novel style where you kind of play a god, and people write to you, and they're like, "Oh, here's my situation, and it's a bad situation," and you kind of have to rearrange the events that happen so that they have a good situation. And sometimes multiple people will write to you, and you have to like mix and match things from letters. So, and there's like a bunch of different people you interact with, and it's just a really cool idea, a lot of fun. A lot better than I thought. The stories are good, the writing is good, the music is good, and it needs more recognition, because I love these indie style games, and there's a lot more to this than I expected. There is also a deeper story outside of the individual stories, and the individual people that write to you, they all like link up, like they will start to interact, and you will start reading letters from each perspective, and it's kind of like you have to try to help them out. And it's not just like a bad and a good. Like there's some of these letters have like 10 different endings or 10 different possible endings to see, and you can really play around and get them all. There's a lot to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is really good. After that, I actually played through the alpha of Reverie Rebirth from one of the developers that I did meet at Play NYC, who was in our Discord and shared it. So if you are part of our Discord, please go check his alpha out. It's a great 16-bit style RPG that involves music. And again, it's only alpha, but it's coming along. And a Kickstarter, I believe, is September 3rd, I think he said. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And then I decided to go back to a game that I haven't played in a long time, and that's Zero Striker Gunvolt. It was one of the very few digital titles I actually did purchase back in the 3DS days, because I love Mega Man X. So I know like they came out with the 2-pack on 3DS. I bought it, but I never went back and finished it, and it came out on Switch, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to play through it on Switch, and I'm still having a blast with that game, and it is a really good game.
That's
cool.
Yeah,
that's what I've been playing.
Wow. Quite a bit. You know, Barry, your old nickname, the No Time Barry, I feel like you've passed it on to me over the last couple weeks, because while you have like, I don't know, what you've listed off like 7 or 8 different games you've been playing the last couple weeks, I've been playing, I played a little bit of Rocket League, and I played some Dr. Mario World. That's about it. Barry's actually been trying to get a hold of me the last week, and it's like, hey, are you alive? Are you ghosting me? I promise I'm not. I just have no time at all. So yeah, the whole no time is totally passed on to me for the last couple weeks. But I'm looking forward to, I've got some travel time coming up this weekend. Travel time is always a great time to bring out the Switch and play some games on Airplane and things like that. So I'm looking forward to playing some more. But I I did make it quite a ways into Dr. Mario World. I think I'm on level 160, 161 right now, something like that. I got hung up on 159 for a really long time, and I had to ask Greg. I was like, Greg, how did you get past this? What doctor did you use? How do I get past this? Because it's driving me insane. And I finally was able to beat it. So Mario was the one that I used. Exactly, Dexter, no time Steve, doesn't feel right. But yeah, so I finally beat that one, and now I think I'm hung up on 163 or 164. I don't know. I've actually beat it at 170 or something like that, I think now. But yeah, it's weird how you just go through like 7 and it's fine. And you have no problem at all. I would be able to beat it within 1 or 2 tries, and then all of a sudden I hit one, and it's just like try after try after, just blow through all my hearts, have to wait again, blow through them all again. So it's interesting how the pacing kind of goes up and down as you go. But 159 was one to make me stop playing for a while. It made me kind of rage quit for a little bit, and I was like, I'm done with this game. I'm done. Yeah, it's still been fun though.
Use money to beat it, Steve. That's what they want you to do.
Not gonna do it. Not for Dr. Mario.
That reminds me so much of how Pokemon Shuffle was.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Greg, I think, is at like level 220 or something like that. Like I passed him for like, I don't know, a day or two, and then I think he realized, he's like, oh no, Steve's not gonna pass me, and he just like blew past me again. So
yeah, which is sad because he's not playing Dragalia right now, and he's playing that.
Because he's trying to beat me in Dr. Mario instead. He has definitely beat me a long time ago. He's like getting three stars on everything too. I'm just like beating him and move on, but he's like trying to get 3 stars on everything. So it's crazy. But yeah, let's see what people in the chat have been playing. Looks like Jakster's been playing Doki Doki, and he started Cat Quest. So yeah, let me know how you think about Cat Quest. I've played a little bit of it, and it's a funny game. And we're actually going to talk about Cat Quest 2 pretty soon. But and he's just expressing his sentiments for Pokemon Shuffle there. But yeah, we're talking about the chat room. I just want to thank you guys for joining in the chat and joining in all the discussion. So throughout this podcast, we want to make it as interactive as possible. So if you hear something that we're talking about and you want to throw your thoughts in there, make sure you do. And we'll refer to the chat room throughout the podcast. We love interacting with you guys, our viewers, our watchers, our readers. And speaking of which, we would love to interact with you guys between podcasts. So we do this podcast every other Monday, but we love to chat with you guys throughout the week. So we're on social media, we're on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. But we've got a pretty quickly growing Discord server. Barry, what's been going on in Discord? Because you've been like kind of like, it is me being off of it for like a week. I came back and it's like totally different. So what's going on over there in our Discord server?
Yeah, so we've had our Discord server for quite a bit, and it's been slowly growing, and I realized there was an absence for something. So many places, they're more secluded. People feel almost a disconnect. There are a lot of times that people won't even know about the people behind the games, and I think that's a shame, because I think a good game is a representation of the people who make it. The passion behind it, the ideas behind it. And of course, we know the big people, but there's a lot of little people. It's kind of like when you go to a movies and you see the credits and it's just like, oh, all these people. It's like, oh my God, you don't know any of them. No one talks about them. And I think that there needs to be a place that people can connect, not only gamers and fans of video games, but also the developers themselves, so they can really get one-on-one feedback from the players. But not even that, other journalists, other YouTubers, like everybody, composers or other, even event hosts, we're all part of this one industry, and this one industry is our passion. It is 100% our passion. It is what we love, and I felt we needed a place that we could really get together and just communicate and just shoot the breeze if we wanted to shoot the breeze, or hey, I got an idea for a game. What do you guys think about this? Or even some just a place for developers to reach out to other developers and say, hey, I have an idea. Anyone have any other ideas? Maybe you could help me flesh this out, or help me out. Or hey, I'm looking for somebody to make music for my game, and I can make music for the game. Hey, make connections with people. Or even event organizers. Hey, we need guests, or we need people to fill slots. Oh, who's looking to show off their new project? Whatever we can do, if we can bring people together, that's what we like to do, and that goes for everybody, for the common Joe to Miyamoto himself, if he would ever grace us. But it's one of those things where we want to hear from you. We want to talk to you, not just us. Everybody, like. It's a friendly place. It's a place for people just to get to know each other and have fun and share news. And it doesn't have to be even Nintendo news. It could be PlayStation or Xbox or whatever you're into. In the grand scheme of things, it's all gaming. It all falls under that gaming umbrella, and we're doing our best to make it grow in that direction. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, please feel free to join us. And if you're already part of it, and you're enjoying it, thank you. We're very happy. We're doing this all for everybody, and feel free to share, because the more it grows, the more it benefits everybody. And if you're unhappy, then please tell us, and we'll do what we can to make you happy, because that's what we do. Here at NintendoFuse, we like making people happy and putting smiles on faces.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of which, I'm going to try out a little feature here, and boom, there we go. It's on the screen. Inkstain C says that he loves our Discord. So even with the 3 there in the TH and the D, so loves this Discord. I couldn't agree more. So and we love the Discord because you guys are in the Discord. So yeah, make sure you join it. Make sure you invite your friends and stuff too. It's a great way for us to chat about games between podcasts, and we absolutely love doing that. So speaking of which, we would also love it when you subscribe and when you hit the bell to be alerted every time we post a video. So you like that transition there. So make sure you do that, and that way you can be alerted every time that we go live, every time we post a new video, every time that we do anything on YouTube. And if you are listening after the fact on another podcast app, thanks so much for subscribing there. And if you can, leave a positive comment. That just helps us kind of rise to the top. It helps other people find us, and be sure to get the word out there about the NintendoFuse podcast. So let's jump into our main discussion point for tonight, and that is the Indie World Showcase. So Nintendo decided to kind of change their pace a little bit, at least a little. They changed the naming of things. Normally they call the indies games the Nindies, but they decided to just go with indie this time and call it an Indie World Showcase. And so they showed off, I think, 29 games, if I counted correctly. They showed off about 14, I think, games. And then they had a sizzle reel at the end with 15 games, and they showed one more at the very, very end. So instead of going through each of those games one by one and talking about them, we just decided that here's how we're going to attack that this time. I'm going to go through the list of all the games that were announced and the release dates or the release windows, and then we take a chance to just kind of talk about our overall thoughts about the event itself and what games kind of stood out to us. So here is the list. Like I said, it's a list of 29 games. This list is on our NintendoFuse.com, on our blog there, so you can check that out. If you miss any of the ones that I announced, it's right there on the front page. Just go to NintendoFuse.com. But here we go. Coming out in summer 2019, so just around the corner, is going to be Risk of Rain 2. And then we have Eastward, that's coming out sometime in 2020. Freedom Finger, yeah, I'm saying that right, is coming out fall of this year, 2019. Roki, do you know how to pronounce that game, Barry? Am I saying it? Is it Roki or
Rookie or something
Rookie?
Like that?
It's the double, like the, I don't know, dots over the O, so I don't know how to pronounce that. Rookie, I think. It's coming out winter 2019. Torchlight 2 is coming over to the Switch on September 3rd of this year. Skater XL is coming on 2020. Europa is coming on in winter 2019. Super Hot is coming August 19th. So that's today. So Super Hot is out today. Dungeon Defenders Awakened is coming out in February 2020. The Tourist with a Y is coming out on November 2019. So that's just a couple months away. Skellboy is coming out on December 3rd, 2019. Earth Knight is 2019 at some point this year. Hotline Miami Collection is coming out today, so 2 drops today. Hotline Miami Collection is one of them. Is both of those games together. Blasphemous from Team 17 is coming out on September 10th, 2019. Close to the Sun from Wired Productions is coming out sometime this year in 2019. Cat Quest 2 is coming out in fall 2019. Spiritfarer is coming out spring 2020. Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince. You know what? I missed the date on that. I'm actually not sure when that is. It's really soon, though. I think it's sometime in 2019. Creature in the Well is coming out September 6th of this year. One Finger Death Punch 2 is coming out on December 2nd this year. Best Friend Forever is coming out on February 14th. Best Friend Forever on Valentine's Day of 2020. Fogs is coming out in early 2020. What the Golf is coming out in winter 2019. Kine, Kine, is coming out in 2019 at some point. Hypercharged Unboxed is coming out in winter 2019. Northgard is coming out September 26th, so right around the corner. Sparklight is coming out sometime in fall this year. Munchkin Quacked Quest is coming out fall 2019. And finally, but not low on the list at all, is Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition is coming out September 27th of 2019. That's a long list of games. 29 games that were announced today. Some of them we knew already. Some of them new on the list. Before we jump into what stands out and everything, Barry, what are your overall thoughts about this presentation? It was like 23 or so minutes that they showed off 29 games. So
yeah,
it kept it pretty quick. What's your impressions of them?
Overall is good. I just want to briefly say it looks like Glad in the chat actually pointed out that it is October 8th is the release date for Trine 4.
Cool.
So it is coming soon. But overall, I thought it was very, very good. I love the indie scene. I love the smaller developers. And as I was watching it, I was hoping to see some people I saw over the weekend at Play NYC. I'm like, oh, come on. And I did. Seeing Skellboy in there just was so awesome to see. I want to see more. I hope to see more in there. But yeah, I think it was all build up to Ori. They were definitely building up. But it's not like it's even build up. There's so many great games shown off. I think this was a really great showcase, and I think it amplifies why indie games, or nindies if you will, do so well on the Switch, because it's a place to flourish, and Nintendo definitely embraces them, gives them their own spotlight, and I think that just taking these type of games on the go is just so good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was actually I go back and forth because I like how many games and how many different types of games are shown off at these kind of events. But if I'm being honest, not too many of them excited me.
Really?
Because they just weren't. They didn't just jump off the screen. And I think it's not because of the games themselves. I think partly it's because they kept it so quick. I wanna dive into some of these games, and I want show me what it's really about. Show me why I should be interested in this game. But showing me something for 20 seconds each, and it's just a boom 20-second trailer. This is when it's coming out, was not enough to get me really excited about the games. And I think it wasn't until after that it got me, okay, I'm going to look into this for the podcast because of what we do here at NintendoFuse. I looked more into the game and I got more excited about some of them. But from the presentation itself, they didn't excite me as much.
See, I understand that for the sizzle reel, at the end when they were just doing the sizzle reel, because a good chunk of the games you listed were only shown in that sizzle reel for those few seconds.
Right.
But the first, quite a few, I think
Yeah, there were like 13 before this is a real.
Yeah, 13 or something. Like they really went more in depth with it, and you can tell like it wasn't just Nintendo talking about it. It was trailers that were submitted by the developers.
Right.
So it was really just Nintendo showing what the developers wanted to show off.
Yeah.
So if something didn't hit the mark, that's really not Nintendo's fault in that regards. It is up to the developers to convey a good trailer. But I thought the ones I knew about, I thought the trailers did well. And the ones that I didn't know about, the ones that did excite me, I thought the trailers did a good job, personally.
Yeah. I think I'm not knocking the trailers at all, and I think it was really cool actually. From a positive side, I think Nintendo basically stepped out of the way and just said, "Hey, you know what, indie developers, this is yours. You submit. We're going to tell people about the release date, and everything else is basically yours. What do you want to present? You have X amount of time. Give us a trailer, probably for this amount of time," and it was in their hands. I just would have liked to. Sometimes at like E3 and stuff like that, I like when they dive in a little deeper with the game and not just show the trailer. I want to tell, like, okay, what really does make this interesting, and tell us more about it. I would have appreciated it more, because I think I would have been more interested in some of these games. Some of them are coming from like other consoles and PC games that are finally coming over, and part of that's my issue, that I'm just not familiar with those games. And so some of them may have excited me if I knew about the game already, but because I didn't know about it, I just heard about it. I've heard the name of it, like Super Hot, for instance. Like, I don't know much about Super Hot. I just knew it existed. And so for like that would probably really excited people that have been into it before, but then like to bring that over, like, I don't know. I wasn't the right audience, I guess, for me to just like see it, get excited. Okay, now I want to get it because I know when it's coming out.
You're just a Debbie Downer today, aren't you?
Don't know time for games. Didn't like any of them. What am I even on this podcast for? Let's see what the chat's saying. So many games. Let's see. Jakester liked Europa, Tourist, Cat Quest 2, and of course Ori were some of the best announcements. Yeah, and Jakester's also saying that maybe the Red Cube will show off some of the will show off some of the Nindies. So of the ones that were shown off, I think Ori really is one of the highlights. I have not played Ori before, but I'm incredibly excited about playing it because it just looks amazing. Like apart from the gameplay and everything, I think that would be something I'll enjoy. But the look of that game is so beautiful. What are some of the other games that stood out to you, Barry?
Well, of course, Ori. A game that I own on an Xbox One that I've never even really played, and I do want to play Ori, so I'm hoping it comes physical. I'm hoping to get it, because that is a game I do want to play. Torchlight 2. I loved the first Torchlight because I'm a huge Diablo fan. I went through Diablo 3 again on the Switch. I love that type of RPG, and to see Torchlight 2 come to the Switch, it's just great. I'm hoping for that physical, but Torchlight 1 was really good and really ambitious. I know Torchlight 2 is an older game, and I never played it because it didn't come to consoles, and at that point I was done doing digital titles. So I have high hopes for that game. Another one that came out of nowhere to me, and maybe other people heard about it, but I hadn't, was Skater XL. I loved the Tony Hawk games growing up. I played them all throughout college. We did nothing but graffiti, and it was just so much fun. I mean, even when the GBA came out, my very first game was not Mario Advance, because I played Mario 2 a bunch of times. It was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on launch. So Skater XL looks great. The last few Tony Hawk games were terrible. Okay. Skater XL graphically doesn't look amazing.
Okay, so good. Because I was hoping it wasn't just me. Because I'm like, no. This game looks awful. So like, it doesn't look graphically. Compared to games in 2019, like it looked like I was like, what? Why doesn't this look better? But
first
gameplay wise, it might be different.
Second off, you can tell it was an early build because a lot of the arenas looked very barren, and they're filling stuff out. They're just showing this off, and I have to stay optimistic about that. The gameplay is what gets me. Like, you could look at Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, for example, and the graphics look pretty good, and even some of the other ones like Project 8. but the games are nowhere near as good as Tony Hawk 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you play those on the PlayStation or the N64, those graphics suck in comparison, but the gameplay, man, you could just keep playing them. So I have high hopes for Skater XL. Dungeon Defenders is one I actually played on the Xbox Live Arcade when it came out. I didn't really have much fun with it, so it doesn't do anything to me. Skellboy I'm incredibly excited about. I got to play Skellboy. It is a lot of fun, and I look forward to more about it. It is very much like Zelda with body changing and 3D dot game heroes. It's a lot of fun. Skellboy I'm really looking forward to. Cat Quest 2, I've never played Cat Quest. I have it. I've heard good things. So I'm assuming Cat Quest 2 is also going to be good. Let's see. The Freedom Finger. Freedom Finger, actually, at first I was like, this looks like the stupidest game ever. But then when I realized you were literally picking up enemies, using their projectiles, and then throwing them at other enemies, I was laughing. I'm like, this looks great. Like, this looks like one of those games that just, is not gonna sell as much as it truly deserves to sell. But it does look really good, and props to them. I like that idea. I think it's one of those things that they put on a board. What's the most ridiculous thing we can do? Threw a dart at it and they hit and said, "We're doing it." and props to them, they're doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, how
is that
Miami collection is good too.
Yeah, let's start like with the Freedom Finger. Is that a new game or is that a port?
No idea.
You don't know, because it looks like something that was probably like a mobile title, but I don't know for sure if they just made it to look like that or if it actually is. But yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, that's weird. You were saying about the collection there.
Oh yeah, Hotline Miami collection. I've heard good things about them. I haven't played them, but I'm happy to see it, and it is getting a physical, so I'm really happy about that. Thank you. I think Special Reserve Games is doing it. Thank you for that. And then one game I absolutely have no interest in, which is Trine 4. I have horror stories with Trine. I have horror experiences with Trine. I never want to touch that franchise again, even though I am getting it because it's physical.
But we have memories with Trine.
Memories of Trine, no more. Done. I'm not doing Trine again. Trine is out of my life. You can play it if you want, but it's out of my life.
So me, you, and Mike won't get together. You could actually do 4-player, I think, this time around too. So
good.
You can get Greg in there.
Let's bring more people into the misery.
Trine's one of those games that I really want to like. I love the concept, but it was rough. Yeah. Jakester said Freedom Finger is actually entirely new, so that's really cool. He also said you need to get on playing Cat Quest 1. It's a fun game. I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed it. And Gladigild is saying, yeah, Ori is one of the most beautiful games that he's ever played. I'm assuming that's a he. I don't really know. But beautiful music, and this game will for sure make you cry. Oh, no. Nope, I'm not playing it anymore. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's kind of Jakester's action. If it was kind of like Hollow Knight, kind of is. He's saying, but it's a platform adventure game. So I love platform adventures. That's why I'm really excited about getting Ori. I think games when you can combine some really good gameplay. And with some amazing graphics and just challenge and just you love looking at it, I think that they're going to knock it out of the park in my book, and that's going to be really cool. Gladigild also mentioned that Europa caught his eye, and I agree. That's another game that looks really interesting. The whole idea that it's a gravity defying sort of puzzle adventure, and it seems like you can just walk around, so it's similar to like Mario Galaxy, I guess, in a way, but you're like inside and. Of the games, like I understand, like indie games have been taking like graphics in a lot of different ways, and you don't have to have like cutting edge graphics to be a really solid indie game. And I think there's a couple other games that really did grab my eye that weren't graphically overwhelming. They're good, but this Europa was one of the games that was like, wow, that looks really good from an indie developer. Like, I'm sure it takes a lot of work and be able to pull that off on the Switch, which a lot of people feel is underpowered. I was like, that's a really solid looking game, and it looks really interesting to be able to play these puzzle adventures from different angles and the whole gravity thing. I'm interested to see how that pans out, like in the entire game as well.
Europa made my stomach turn as I was watching it. I was like, oh no, like, I want to like this game. It's ambitious, but I know I can't play it.
Just imagine playing it with the VR, Labo VR. Yeah, there you go. Just bring your Dramamine and your puke bucket, I guess. I don't know. We won't get into talk about puke again and bathroom jokes. We're going to leave those for the other podcasts that we've already done. Earth Knight looked interesting to me as well. I think that was one of the ones that's it's a 2D platformer. Like it's one of those classic arcade ones, and I think that was kind of cool to me. I'm always a sucker for a good classic like arcade platformer with just a lot of craziness going on. These like dragons, and you gotta like just try to survive in this like apocalyptic world. So that was kind of cool. I was interested. So you said you did play Dungeon Defenders?
Yeah, I did play that when it first came out on XBLA.
Okay.
And I didn't play it for long. That was back in the day when I actually got every XBLA game. Back when I was like, oh, cool. I just really want to embrace before the Microsoft pissed me off by not giving me more hard drive space. But yeah, it was okay. But I don't remember what else came out that week. But whatever else came out that week overshadowed it for me, and I just never went back to it. I'm not saying it's a bad game.
Right. So Dungeon Defenders was one of the ones that I was left scratching my head from the trailer today. Like that was the ones I'm like, I think I might be interested in this game, but I didn't learn enough to really know what I feel about it.
It's like a tower defense game, but instead, like, if I remember correctly, and I could be totally wrong, so don't hate me if I am, but it's like a 3D arena where like waves of enemies are coming towards whatever you're trying to defend, and you could set up on the fly like different like turrets and stuff while also running around as your character attacking, like goblins attacking and stuff like that. And you work cooperatively, so if you have 4 people, you can each take a path and try to defend your own path. And if your path is like not much there, you could jump down and help somebody else.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great idea. It was fun. It just didn't catch my attention for long.
Right. And they said it was multiplayer. Like, is it only local multiplayer? Because all they showed was the split screen. And I feel like it probably is. And so, like, I'm glad he goes saying that he thinks it's also free to play. It does seem like it could be one of those free to play games. So if it is, I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, it left me with a lot more questions, I think, than anything else. Another one that left me with questions was Munchkin, like because it was part of the Scissor Reel, it was a rare tail end of the Scissor Reel, and I love the card game Munchkin. I don't know if have you ever played it, Barry? Nope. So much fun. It's like so if you're interested in I don't know. Role-playing kind of games like Dungeons and Dragons and that sort of thing. It's like take that, but like take out all the depth from Dungeons and Dragons and just keep like the simple basic idea of the game and everything with tongue in cheek. It's a really fun and hilarious card game, kind of role-playing card game. But so I was interested to see how they put that into a game like this. It looks like a top-down sort of adventure kind of game. I was like, what's this really even about? Like, I'll probably check it out because I like Munchkin, but I really didn't know much about what it is. And that may be it, because Munchkin's just kind of nonsense, so it may just be a bunch of people just bouncing around, and that's it. And just hitting each other. I don't know. Rookie, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, was another one that I think the story itself and what's there with the Scandinavian like folklore and everything seems interesting. I'm gonna definitely look into more of that, where she has to like save her family and everything. And it was one that kind of, I love the art style, like, so kind of going from the opposite side of it's not a game that you look at and go, oh my gosh, that looks so realistic, but it's an art style that kind of drew me in. It's like a storybook sort of thing, and it drew me in and go, okay, I'm really interested in what's going on in the story and how do I help this girl like save her family and everything too. So that's another one that I'm gonna be be looking into for sure. So, yeah, but Ori, you've had it and you've been sitting on it for a while and not played it, huh?
I have not played more than 8 hours on my Xbox One, and I have a day one edition, and I got it on day one.
Nice.
Just honestly, the Wii U and the PS4 had more games that I was interested in, and every game I got for the Xbox One, which were exclusives like Sunset Overdrive and Ori and Rare Replay, and none of them I popped in.
That's hilarious.
They're still sitting sealed.
So you're gonna play it probably on Switch instead of Xbox then?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It just feels more like a Switch game anyway.
It does. It really does.
It's kind of like Sunset Overdrive. I just want to put it on my Dreamcast and play it on the Dreamcast because that's what it feels like.
Yeah. There's true. Like I do play my Xbox One a little more than you do, but it is like there are certain games that I feel better playing on there, and there are a lot of games that I feel better playing on a Nintendo platform. And even though Microsoft is doing this one, it does feel more like a good solid Nintendo game.
It's kind of like I got Super Lucky Tail on the Xbox One when it came out, and I never touched it. And now new Super Lucky Tail's coming out on the Switch, and I look forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what do you think, Barry, about this? Microsoft bringing games over to Switch? They keep doing it. How's this gonna pan out in the long run? They think they're gonna keep doing it?
I think they are, because I think they're positioning Xbox more as from a actual console to a platform. Much like Netflix kind of platform. And I think it's smart, because I think they realize they're not making as much with their actual consoles, but they are making a lot on software sales. And I want to say maybe Minecraft helped with that. After they bought Mojang, they kept Minecraft on all systems. They continued to put Minecraft on new systems, and it kept making them money. And I think they saw that. Now, Microsoft always did put their games, or most of their games, on PC regardless, because of Windows. Even Halo, when it came out on the Xbox, still came out on PC. So I think they're realizing they can do more almost as a third party, while still having a box for the dedicated fans. So they're almost like pleasing everybody. In the grand scheme of things, I just want to see Rare come to Switch. Give us Rare Replay. Give us the new Battletoads. Give us a new Banjo. Like, if the Banjo's now coming to Smash, make it happen. And I think there was a quote from the one of the Conquer creators saying that it's inevitable that Rare IP come back to Nintendo. So I'm just hoping sooner versus later. E3 is only a year and a half or a year away or something. A little less than a year now. It's come on, make it happen.
That's true. That'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to see where they're going to take it, because I think Microsoft is, especially within their new stuff, they're just really positioning themselves as a distributor and a publisher, and I think a lot more. And they're bringing all these they're buying a lot of companies, but now they're putting out those games everywhere, and we're probably like Glady Guild is saying, Xbox Game Pass is going to come eventually to Switch. They're going to consider Switch just another platform, just like they do PC and all these things. And eventually, you're going to be able to get Microsoft, develop and publish games on any system you want, except for Sony. They're not playing nice with Sony as much.
Well, not necessarily, because you mentioned buying studios. One of the studios they just bought was Obsidian, and they're doing the Outer Worlds, which is coming to PS4,
good point,
and now is coming to Switch as well, and that's now Microsoft published.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
So.
Yeah. It's interesting to see where this is going, and it's a new day and age. I feel like with the console wars that we had years ago between even Sega and Nintendo, and then Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft, and fighting against each other and everything like that. It seems like they're almost maybe willing to put all those fights behind them and let bygones be bygones, and maybe we can all get along and just enjoy games together. I don't know. But we'll see.
So it should be.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the whole console war thing is just a marketing ploy.
Totally.
That started from the Intellivision attacking Atari back in the day, back in the second generation, and it's only stemmed from there. It's all been marketing.
Yeah.
And a lot of it came from being children, where we can only afford, or our parents could only afford, one system. So we had to fight for the death for our system, because that's all we had. When you're growing up, if you had a Super Nintendo, you most likely didn't have a Genesis, and boom, you fall for the Super Nintendo, and vice versa if you were a Genesis kid, or if you were one of the lucky few now that had a TurboGrafx. You Monk was your Mario. That's what you had to do. And I think as you get to an adult and you have a little bit more expendable income and you can see things past those boundaries and what the marketing teams and the PR teams want you to see, you can really pick out the best of both worlds, which is whatever system you want, whatever games you enjoy playing. There is no right or wrong as long as you're having fun.
Right. So do you think, I mean, this isn't in our rundown, but I think it's an interesting question for me to ponder. I think, like, with a bunch of indies, going cross-platform, even Microsoft bringing their games cross-platform, are we going to eventually see the downfall of exclusives? Or do you think they'll always be there and always be strong? Or is there going to be fluctuation in that at all?
Well, I mean, ironically, even in this indie thing, there was a timed exclusive, which
Right.
was so weird hearing
Right.
Nintendo talk about this is a timed exclusive. No, I do think exclusives will remain, or at least timed exclusives, because at the end of the day, no matter how much we want everybody to play together, how much we want everybody to be together, it's still a business, and we have to realize that first and foremost. It's about the money, and for the big three, it is about how much their consoles bring in, because at the end of the day, not only do they make money whenever they sell a console, they make money anytime someone buys a game on their console. So if a game is a multi-platform game and it comes to the Switch and the PS4 and the Xbox One, if you buy the Switch version, you are actually giving Nintendo some money from that. If you buy the PS4 version, you are now giving Sony some money for that. So in the end of the day, exclusives are still important to get your sale. It's when the sales of the exclusives are low that you realize you may have to subsidize the cost of creating the game by putting it onto another platform. We saw Nintendo do this with Wii U ports to the Switch, which was, of course, Nintendo to Nintendo, but it still helped subsidize the cost. And Jakester talked about it just briefly in the chat about Gears 5 is now announced for Steam. Gears 5, obviously, a Microsoft-developed and published game. They foot the bill, and they may not feel confident enough that Gears 5 will make enough money just on the Xbox platform. But if they open it to Steam, they feel they'll recoup and make more money.
That's a good point.
Even giving part of that share to Valve, of course, for being on Steam.
Of course. Yeah, just to get it out there more and potentially make more money, which I think is a great move, because there's, like, Steam has a huge platform with so many people. Like, that's a gigantic offering to get it on there.
It is, but it's also a double-edged sword. A lot of people are lost on Steam.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, it's so hard. Even, like, I don't play on Steam very much, but a lot of times I'm like, okay, I want a new game. I'm gonna look at what game is, like, I don't even know what to, where to go half the time. It's like there's so many games, and I'm sure there's tons that I'm overlooking that are fantastic games, but you get overlooked because you're just lost in the mix. For sure. Another game that I forgot that kind of goes against what I was saying earlier about this showcase was actually Tourist. And so, I thought they actually, Shinin, I think is who produced that, developed it and produced it, published it and everything. And they're a fantastic, like, I love a lot of their games, and this is totally different than a lot of other games that they do. But it was one of those games that I was like, what is this, when it first came on? And, like, with every, like, couple seconds I saw more of the trailer, I'm going, oh, okay. All right. And so by the end of the 20-second trailer or something like that, whatever, I was like, yeah, I'm intrigued by this thing. I think this could be interesting. And so, yeah, I don't know what you thought about it, Barry, but I think just, like, the graphical style was kind of interesting. It kind of threw me off at the beginning, but yeah, the more I watched about it, the more I saw, like, it's an interesting kind of, like, adventure, but then you got games within the games, and, like, there's, like, this world within a world sort of thing, and it seems like happy-go-lucky, like a Sims adventure kind of game, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's more to it, and, like, you're visiting this amusement arcade to do some shopping and dance at the beach party and everything, but then, like, you hear all this, like, ancient mysterious monument stuff, and there's, like, a deeper thing within it, and so it seems like you can kind of have two different experiences with this game. You can have, like, the happy-go-lucky stuff, but then you can also, like, dive into, like, the deeper story and everything. So that was I grabbed all that from that 30 seconds or whatever. So like it is possible, and Shinin is one of those ones that actually did intrigue me, and I think they did well with their trailer, because I learned quite a bit, and it totally took me from this game looks stupid to, oh, I'm very intrigued. So
yeah, it was an interesting concept game. It's not one that I could see myself playing, mainly because I almost feel like I could get too lost in it if it's too open-ended. But it's intriguing, and I do want to see more.
That's true. Yeah, I do like. I found like I used to be a lot like that. I don't know. That's too open-ended, but like the more I think adult life kicks in, the more I appreciate those games that I can just hop in and hop out from time to time.
Yeah.
So
Animal Crossing.
Exactly. Totally. Although too much time away from Animal Crossing, and I got weeds overrunning my city. So
And roaches.
Yeah, and roaches and everything else. So that's never fun. All right. Well, Indie World Showcase is now in the bag. 29 games they announced. A lot of them coming out right away. A couple of them today, in fact. And so, continue to let us know what you think about those games as they come out. Hop over on NintendoFuse.com if you want to check out the full list. We have the whole showcase there as well. If you missed it and you want to watch it, you can watch it right on our site as well. And just leave a comment about what you think about all those games. Let's turn a little bit of a page there. And Barry, you hung out at there in downtown New York City with a bunch of other gamers and developers and NintendoFuse fans this last weekend. Is that right? Was it just a week ago? And let's tell us about Play NYC 2019.
Yeah, so for those of you that have followed NintendoFuse for a while, you know that we have a very good relationship with Playcrafting, and we were there at the very first Play NYC back in 2017, and we've been there ever since. We're very big supporters of that con. We think it's very important, and we've watched it evolve as it gets bigger and better. And I'm happy to report that this year is even bigger and better. First off, for my full thoughts, you can go to NintendoFuse.com. The whole article is there with more in-depth thoughts. But I do first off want to say thank you to Dan, who was very, very gracious to give us the opportunity to get out there, and not only for us to get out there, but for us to give out tickets to our fellow listeners and our readers, so that they can experience it as well. So congratulations again to all the winners. I got to meet a couple of you out there, which was always great. I love connecting with the fans, and I just hope this continues, because I like to bring joy to people. I like to be able to get them to a place where they can experience joy. And what kind of joy are they experiencing? They're experiencing some of the greatest games I got to experience in this past year. The arena, the whole venue was filled to the brim with awesome titles. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see them all, or I didn't get to really experience them all, because we had an hour at the beginning that was press hour. And I maybe got to 3 or 4 at this point, because I was just having good conversations with the people. I was playing the games, I was testing out, and then the doors opened, and it was a flood, and it was super busy, and it is it's crazy. So like one developer who I met last year, I actually contacted them, and they said, "Oh yeah, I was there this year," and I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even see you. I'm so sorry." You know, it's not that I didn't want to see you, I just didn't get to see you. But what I saw was incredible. And first off, it wasn't even just the games I saw that were incredible. It was the people I saw, the people I got to meet. I had some wonderful conversations with a lot of passionate developers. And I look forward to, over the next week or two, setting up a couple industry talks, which I'll be doing a whole bunch of emails, trying to figure out the schedule, because it's so many people I'm trying to juggle, and I'm trying to get everything down. So if you are a developer listening to this, you know, emails will be going out this week on that. But a lot of them actually were gracious enough. They actually are part of our Discord now, which is great, because like I mentioned one of them before, Reverie Rebirth was an awesome title that I got to see, and now I got to play the alpha. It's always hard for me to really play a game at one of these type of events, though, like really sink into it, especially in RPG, because if I sit down in an RPG, like, I want the rest of the world to disappear around me, and I just want to sink into it. And I tell people, like, I'd be a terrible streamer because I will kill every enemy. I will explore every nook and cranny. I will see a sword in a shop that I can't afford and go right outside and grind until I have enough money to buy it before I move on. I would be terribly boring to watch, but that's what I want. So I really couldn't get into a lot of the games there for that reason, why I appreciate like the alpha builds where I get to kind of play it at my own leisure. But I did get to play a bunch of titles, or I'll watch the developers play a bunch of titles, and some definitely highlights. I mentioned Scale Boy earlier. That one I did get to play. That was a lot of fun. I played through the demo, and I thought that was something totally up my alley. They've been a really good company for brands, and I'm looking forward to doing more work with them. Swim Sanity, which is one featured in the spring Nindies showcase, was there. Had a lot of fun doing 4-player with the developers and another journalist. We had a lot of fun doing the deathmatch and the cooperative. One game that's actually out now on Steam, I think it just came out, or at least on PC, and is Tranquil Garden. A really interesting RPG with choices, and I had a really cool conversation with the developers about how they designed certain enemies and certain choices, and like some of the enemies are based on their pets, and like I love stories like that. I love to just get the nitty gritty about it. But again, it was an RPG, and they're like, "Do you want to play?" I'm like, "No, because I will not leave this arena, and I will just sit here and play." And I can't do that right now, especially because that was during the press hour. I'm like, I want to. I think I spent a good 25 minutes with them of the hour. Saw some other great ones. Miasma Caves looks really interesting. The early access is coming soon to that one. I saw like Eye of the Clown, which is a Kickstarter that's live right now. That is hopefully coming to Switch. That one felt a little loose to me in controls, but it looks perfect for the Switch. A lot of people were a little unhappy with the clown motif because they're scared of clowns, and he apparently was getting it a lot. But it was really interesting. I saw Pure, The Birth of a Goddess, was a title that was developed by two sisters. The whole studio is just two sisters, and they are as sweet as can be. They have so much passion behind that game, and it looks super ambitious. It looks like something like if I started, I would get lost in just attempting to create it. So I give them all the props. Fiction Sphere, I saw that's on Kickstarter now. In fact, that just got officially confirmed for Switch. It hit the Kickstarter level, like the stretch goal. I mentioned earlier I was playing Azure Striker. This kind of reminds me of that. It's at Mega Man X, Mega Man ZX world. An interesting title was Zelda Singularity, which is a mobile title that's out now. It's just one of those weird tap games where you got to go through life, and like my wife tried it and she was just like, I'm like, we got to go, and she's like, no. And we got to go. She's like, no. I'm like, okay. So I kind of see this going as a because it's free to play. I can see this going free to play to Switch, and they want that. We mentioned before, like Ori is an action adventure 2D like Metroidvania. They were showing off a game called Outpost Delta, which was put out by the same people that did From Rust, and the guy is super nice. This is a twin stick Metroidvania, where instead of just running and gunning left and right and up and down as you explore, you can use the right analog stick to aim while moving and shooting, so you can run away from an enemy while still firing at it in full 360 control. Really cool, space themed, very, very much influenced by Metroid. Looking forward to that, and that is coming to the Switch. That is confirmed for the Switch, so we'll definitely see that. Way of Rhea was an interesting platform game that is coming out from Anthropope Studios. They're actually in our Discord. That's a fun puzzle platformer. There's no like battles in it. It's all just puzzled, but just a ton of fun. Then there was Crystalla, which is from Astral Clock Tower Studios. Very, very sweet people. Had the pleasure of talking with them for a bit. Really early alpha, 3D action adventure. Just a title I fell in love with, and I fell more in love with like the story of their passion behind it. Like they sold the game to me. I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And everybody that I've met from Astral Clock Tower since has been nothing but sweet. They're also in the Discord. This is a game to look out for, because this is going to be big when it comes out. Like, this is just another sleeper hit as of now, but will definitely grow once people really see this. Dogfight is another one I saw last year. It is pretty much Star Fox 64 multiplayer or Crimson Skies multiplayer, but you're literally dogs flying the planes instead. Totally awesome concept, totally awesome idea. The graphics look great. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to when that does come out. Then a couple other titles that are really highlights. One biggest status, I should say biggest status, that's not right. The status thing I saw was Antipope Dx, which is done by a friend of ours, actually locally to my town. The reason I say sad is because I saw this game in 2017. I played it on the 3DS. It was so much fun. It was Mega Man X style using gravity, and it was coming to the Wii U and it's coming to the 3DS. And then they're like, oh no, Nintendo canceled putting stuff on there and denied the guy a Switch box or a Switch dev kit to bring it to the Switch. So it's not coming to Switch. It might come to Microsoft. He's working with Microsoft now. The game has been done for over a year now. It's just sitting there and no one's picked it up. And it's sad. Like, why Nintendo? Why? I played this on the 3DS. It was great. And this should be on the Switch. This would fit perfectly. But I don't know. If you're listening, Nintendo, you're not paying attention here. This is a title that would fit perfectly in this Nindy showcase kind of deal. But yeah, there was just a ton of titles, a ton that I missed, a ton of VR. I didn't do any VR stuff. I don't like doing VR in public, just because I don't want to get pink eye or something. So despite rubbing down and all that, I don't chance it. It's bad enough getting the con crud or anything like that. I just don't want to deal with it. But if there's one thing in the end of the day that I took from this Play NYC, and I've taken this from the past too, it's passion. The people behind these games are super, super, super passionate. And I think that's one of the elements that makes a great game. Anybody can make an action adventure, anyone can make a first-person shooter, anyone can make an RPG. But if you're passionate about the project, if you put your heart and soul and your love into it, it shows. It carries on. And I look forward to seeing what each and every one of the developers that were there, how it comes out. And a lot of the developers are part of our Discord, which is fantastic because I look forward to seeing how their projects build, and I look forward to talking to them more. And if you stay tuned to NintendoFuse, we should have some industry talks coming up in the next few weeks, so we'll space them out and we'll get some more information on these titles. And if you have not been to Play NYC, I can't stress it enough, it is an awesome event. So next year, there's no date yet, but it'll most likely be in the August time period. From what I understand, it's going to be the same venue. I know I said that last year, that changed, but hopefully it doesn't this time. This was a really good venue, and everyone I talked with had a great time. And I really, really, really think you should go to this, especially if you like passion projects, especially if you like smaller titles. This is the place to go. And it's not even just smaller titles. Bigger titles are starting to go there. They had Just Cause 3 was there. Devolver Digital was there showing off some stuff. And there were big crowds. And, it's just like, I can see those anytime. Just Cause 3, I own it. It's on my shelf. I haven't played it yet. I don't need to see it here. I want to focus on getting to know, not just see the games, but getting to know the people behind it. And that's why I love Play NYC. So again, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Playcrafting, for putting this on. Thank you to everybody I had the pleasure of talking with. I'm sorry for anybody that I missed. If you were watching this, I hope next year I do get to talk to you. And thank you for everyone that did partake in it, that is part of our Discord now. I appreciate you, and I'm sure I speak for the rest of the NintendoFuse crew when I say we appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. So Barry, you've been 3 years in a row now, ever since the beginning. How has this year compared to the past years?
Much better. The first year was always the rockiest of anything. What Dan wanted to do was he wanted to put a show together in an unconventional place. So he succeeded by doing it in a nightclub. We were in a nightclub. And it was really interesting because the balconies on top were really, really skinny. Didn't get to a lot of the game. And it was kind of a mess, but it was a fun mess. The security was nothing but go down this alley to the side door, and there's a guy in a yellow shirt that will open the door and let you in. And that's the security. The guy looked like he could kick the crap out of you at any time, but that was it. The second year we went to the Hammerstein Ballroom. This was not a venue for again a con like this, because the ground floor was great, but the second and third floors and stuff, they were stadium seating, so people were showing their games in the middle rows of seats. And there was like the third floor or the fourth floor you could only get to by one staircase. So some people were missed entirely. They couldn't figure out how to get there. And the basement, like, no one went to, was like the board games were put down there, and there wasn't really a lot to see. So this was much better because it was all one floor. And that's something I didn't even mention. There were board games. I didn't touch them yet. Like, there were board games shown off, looking really, really cool types of board games. But again, if I sit there, I'm gone for a while.
Yeah.
I'll just get too into it. But there were board games, there were card games, there were a bunch of other types of games. It is a show for everybody. This year was better. I'd say if I had to rate them, 2017, I would give a B minus. Last year, I would give a B to a B plus, and this year I would do an A minus to an A. I really would like it. It is definitely improved.
Cool. Sounds like they're learning a lot and just making significant improvements every time. And so this venue, you'd like to go back to this venue again, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was easy to get to. I think a lot of people felt that way, and it was open. It was right between 6th and 7th Avenue. It was right there in Midtown Manhattan kind of deal. A couple blocks south of Times Square, 20 blocks south of Times Square. So
cool.
And the short block, so it was a nothing walk.
Nice. Yeah, and even though it's past Play NYC, if you still have questions about it, be sure to check out Barry's Industry Talks over the last 3 years. He's got some great conversations with Dan Butchko of Playcrafting, and be sure to check out their interviews right here on NintendoFuse's YouTube channel. So awesome. And next time it comes around, you should definitely apply for some free tickets, because that's if we get him again. I'm not. They've been awesome. Maybe we won't get him in, but if we do, you should definitely enter into the contest for some free tickets for sure. Jakester's asking how many people do we see? Did you get a chance to check in with and actually meet in person there, Barry, with their fans of NintendoFuse?
I saw quite a few from NintendoFuse. I saw, I think, 5 or so I happened to run into, maybe more, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, but some went Sunday. I didn't go Sunday. But in terms of overall, I'm gonna say when I was there on Saturday, it felt like there was at least 3,000 people. Not always at the same time, coming and going. But even like when we got there, we were there really early. We're there 8:30. The 9 o'clock was for press, and 10 o'clock was public. And we left around 4, maybe 4:15. Like, it closed at 6, so we were there for most of the day. And when we left at like 4:15, there were still people coming into the show. So it was like a revolving door. People came, stayed for a couple hours, left, get some food, came back. So I have no idea. Sunday, I'm assuming Sunday was also busy. But yeah, it was a lot of people. And like I said, there were times where I just couldn't even get to games because it was just such a crowd. And it was just like, I want to play this game, but there's so many people wanting to play it as well that I'm just going to watch it. I'm going to try to talk to whoever's in charge of it and get a little bit of info about it, and let the everyone else play. Like, I'm fine with not playing a game as long as I'm seeing other people enjoy the game. Like the one I was mentioned, Way of Rhea, my wife was playing it, and 2 other people sat down. They had 3 computers, and they were all playing it, and they all finished like their puzzle at the same time, and everyone was like, yeah, and the developer was just smiling, like, yeah, look at the joy. And I was talking with him at the time, Mason. He's in our Discord, and I said that's got to be awesome, like, to see three sets of people complete the objectives that you set out for, and just the joy that they felt. That's why I love this. It is a real passion project. It is real community. And that's what games should be about. Not about, we mentioned before, it is it's a business, but in reality it should just be about making people happy. Right.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, I've never been to Play NYC, and he's trying to get me there, and Dan's been trying to get me there ever since they started. But one of the things that I loved about when I was able to go to PAX East every year.
You were supposed to go to the first one.
I know I was supposed to. I mean, I was still in New England as well. It was so easy to get down there, not like today. But what I really loved about the PAX events is the indie mega booth. And I think it's kind of like, in a way, similar to Play MIC, where there's just a bunch of indie developers that are there, and yeah, they don't have the gigantic booths like Nintendo and Microsoft and all those other companies, but they have just like their little booth, and you have the game, and you're able to like talk with the guys that are developing the games, that are writing the music. Sometimes it's all the same person, and it's like their passion project, and they've been doing all that, and it's so cool just to connect with them and find out. I was actually working with another organization one time, and I was able to go around and interviewing the different developers. And one of the questions that I loved asking them was like, what's the story behind the game? What's the story behind the story? Like, why this game? What made you, like, of all the different kind of types of games that are out there, what made you kind of make this type of game, and why the story go this direction and all that stuff? And it was so cool to just like hear from them. It'd be like if we ever got the opportunity to have, Miyamoto, like, to like sit across to him and be like, okay, why Mario? Like, those interviews have happened before, but just be able to have that conversation with the person that actually created that all this was just in their head, and they decided, you know what, they're going to sit down, they're going to code this thing and make it for themselves, but also make it for us. And it's so cool to be able to have those conversations with those people that are making it.
Yeah, I agree. One of the ones, Revelry Rebirth, which has the alpha in there. I was talking with Michael, who is in charge of the game, and he was explaining to me how one of the things that he noticed in games was a lack of diversity, and not just in terms of race or religion, but also in sexual preference. And like, games should be whatever you want them to be. And we were talking a little bit actually about Fire Emblem Three Houses, because like if you're a girl and you want to have a relationship with another girl, there's like 5 different girls you could be with, but if you're a guy, there's only one guy. And how it's a little bit unfair and how it should be fair. Just the equality. And he's talking about how like his game, like a relationship doesn't matter. Like you can have a relationship with anybody you want, boy, girl, doesn't matter. Like everybody's available, because in life that's really what it is. Everybody's available, and it was true. Like that's what he noticed was missing, and he wanted to go out there and make that, because in the end of the day, if you're playing a role playing game, you should be able to fit into the role. You shouldn't have to conform to something else. You should be able to put yourself. I mean, that was the whole point of Link not having a voice. Mm-hmm. It was so that we can put ourselves in Link's position. We can see ourselves. It was like a character avatar in a sense. Granted, Link has developed a personality over the years, but that was the whole point of it. And I think that's important. And just to his passion about that was so strong, and it was just like, yeah, you know what, you do you do that, and I think you're right. I think we should have equality. Absolutely, let's do it. And sure enough, he's doing it, and the game is great from what I played.
Cool. Let's turn pages just a little bit to another gaming event that's actually hasn't started yet. It starts tomorrow, if I get this correct. Gamescom for 2019 is coming up, and the winners have already been announced. Barry, did Nintendo win anything?
Yes, Nintendo won. They won one thing. Which was a guaranteed win for them, no matter what, because it was the best Switch game. But they were nominated for a bunch of things. So even though it doesn't technically start till tomorrow, they do announce the list of winners from for all the categories. So I'm just gonna go through it quickly. I'm gonna do the winner, and I'm just gonna say if Nintendo had something there and what they had. So best action adventure game went to Black Sad, Under the Skin. Link's Awakening was nominated, but it didn't win. Best action game went to Doom Eternal. Nintendo had nothing there. Best family game went to Concrete Genie from Sony. Sony beat out Nintendo in a Best Family game. Luigi's Mansion 3 was there. Dreams was the other one from Sony. So Sony had 2 to Nintendo's 1, and Sony still won. Best racing game went to Grid. Nintendo had nothing there. Best role-playing game went to Wasteland 3. Pokemon Sword and Shield were there. They did not win. Best simulation went to Planet Zoo. Nothing for Nintendo. Best sports games went to Roller Champions by Ubisoft. I'm happy about that, because that game actually looks really fun. Again, nothing Nintendo. Best strategy went to Desperados 3. No Nintendo there. Most original game went to Dreams from Sony. Again, no Nintendo for original games. Look at that. Obviously, best Microsoft Xbox One game went to Mario Odyssey. No, I'm saying it was Gears 5, but obviously no Nintendo. Best Nintendo Switch game, Nintendo won it, Link's Awakening, beating out Luigi's Mansion 3 and Pokemon Sword and Shield. Best Sony game was Dreams. Best mobile game. I didn't even know this existed. Battle Chasers Night War has a mobile edition. That's kind of cool. That was fun on the Switch. No Nintendo titles were nominated there. And best PC game went to Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And, of course, no Nintendo there. Right. So those are all the nominees, the winners of the different categories and where Nintendo fit into it. It was nice to see Nintendo get some nominations. It seems to be only 3 games, Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Right.
Which is sad because Astral Train not there, or Daemon X Machina not there, and I think those two should maybe be there because they look awesome.
Yeah, that's true. In a way, kind of, not exactly, but in a way, they kind of almost won with Grid because Grid's coming to Switch. It's just not out yet. Yeah. So it's like a pseudo win there.
Pseudo win. Grid's, Roller Champions might come to Switch too.
Okay.
I don't know. It would be soft. I mean, Doom Eternal is coming to Switch.
That's right. Yeah. So they kind of had some other wins.
Is Wasteland 3, is that coming, or is it just Wasteland 2?
I'm actually not sure on that one.
I think Wasteland 2 came. Wasteland 3 may be coming.
Chat, help
and who knows?
Out.
Maybe we'll get Gears 5. You know, it's coming to Steam. Maybe we'll get Gears 5 as well.
Who knows? Yeah, it's true. Let's check the requirements. The Switch could probably run it. Yeah, it can be ported over.
Probably.
There. Yeah, for sure.
We'll figure it out. Panic button will do it.
Right. It's so interesting to see like how like over the years like there'll be years where Nintendo is like dominating all the charts and winning everything and like top sales, and then all of a sudden they have a year like this year and it's like and we're okay with just kind of cruising by, and then there'll be another year where they'll be dominating again. It's not a consistent.
I don't think this is a cruising by year.
No, I think
Luigi's Mansion and
right, but it's not the the Breath of the Wild, and it's not Mario Odyssey year where they're like that kind of tier games that are just clearly dominating.
Shut your mouth. Link's Awakening is going to beat Breath of the Wild as best game. It already is better than Breath of the Wild, so shush.
Shots have been fired. All right, but yeah, that's cool. Congratulations, Nintendo, for having the best Switch game.
It was either between Nintendo, or Nintendo. Who would have thought?
Or the Pokemon Company, kind of, but
Nintendo's publishing.
Right, it's true. Oh boy, Wasteland 3 is not going to Switch yet. Jixter says.
Wasteland 2 is though. It's on the Switch, I believe now.
Thank you, chat, for doing our homework for us. All right, so let's turn another page to a different story that has, I don't know. We covered this originally. What was it, like 2 podcasts away? Was it last podcast?
No, last podcast.
Last podcast. Okay, so not too long ago, the CEO of Electronic Arts, a guy named Andrew Wilson, had some thoughts about Nintendo, specifically the Switch, and he was like, he didn't really seem that excited about supporting the Switch. Didn't really think that a lot of people wanted those games on there. They'd rather play the EA games on their Xboxes and their PlayStations and all that sort of thing. And we had some words about EA. We've had words about EA for a while. EA has been a fantastic company. Thank you so much, Electronic Arts, for bringing me out to San Francisco several years ago and supporting the DS at the time and having great games and all that stuff. But over the last few years, you haven't been doing it. And it seemed really weird, or seemed just like a nail in a coffin that the CEO kind of said these words last week. And like, you know what? Both FIFA, which is not really even a good FIFA this year, this next year, and Unravel 2 and Faye. That's really all they got. And we thought, you know what? EA just closed the door. We're just going to forget about them being on Switch. They've clearly forgotten about Switch. But then looks like EA had a little interview with Game Informer, and some different things have been said. So a spokesperson named Laura. I'm gonna butcher her last name. I think it's Melee or Melee, something like that. Speaking on behalf of Electronic Arts, said this in Game Informer. Yes, we invested with FIFA. We had good success there. I love that we have such a great global reach and a great global presence on that platform with that game. We are absolutely looking at more Switch games in our portfolio, so more to come on that. We're not going to announce anything as of yet, but it is absolutely a platform that we're looking at for some of our more successful games. So, is the CEO and the spokesperson like just not talking and they're just like on completely separate pages, or are they turning their opinion now because like, oh wow, we've actually heard the outcry of the Nintendo fans, or what's going on here, Barry? What do you think?
2 words: stock owners. When Andrew Wilson said what he said, I believe he meant it, and I believe the stock owners saw that and said, "What are you doing?" Because if there's one thing I've learned about stock owners when it comes to video games, is that they don't know anything. And what I mean by that is Nintendo will come out and win E3 with an amazing, amazing showcase, but because Animal Crossing is delayed, the stock will fall. That's stupid. They realize that the Switch, the stock owners are smart enough to know that the Switch is selling. And the stock owners of EA are only there to make money. They want EA to make money because if EA makes money, they make more money. That's just the way it works. So when they said that, when Andrew said that, they were like, oh crap, like, what do you mean? If your games go on the Switch, that should translate to more money. If that translates to more money, that translates to more money for us. The stock goes up. And I think it was kind of a way of the PR rep saving face. Like, oh, no, we didn't say that. No, it's kind of like that episode of Family Guy, when Brian and Stewie go to Germany and the tour guide insists that the entire country of Germany was on vacation during World War II. We can't talk about the Nazis. And it's kind of like that. No, that never happened. Andrew never said that thing. No, we love the Switch. We're totally going to be performing on the Switch. We're going to put our best platforms and best titles on the Switch. And I think this all stemmed from asking about The Sims. And that was a game perfect for the Switch. So, I don't know. I don't know what EA is doing. I don't know if they're just saying this to save face and they have nothing really planned, or if they're going back to the drawing board and say, we got to keep the stock owners happy before they all sell out on us and we all lose our money. So, what can we put to the Switch? Who knows?
Yeah.
I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a money thing. I think for them, especially when a company that big, they could tank if they take enough people off, and if their CEO keeps saying stuff like that, like stocks could tank, like people stop buying the games, like you take enough people off. I mean, I don't think they'll necessarily go belly up, but like they could take a drastic turn. And there's a lot of Nintendo gamers out there and a lot of people that are already ticked at EA, and if they keep going that direction, they're going to lose a lot of potential money. But at the same time, like if they are able to, like if this is in fact true, if it's not just a PR thing and they actually really are wanting to turn the page for whatever reason, there's a lot of money to be had out there as well, because they do make some good games, and I know a lot of people that do want to buy those games if they did come on Switch. So hopefully this is not just a PR thing. I really do hope that we do see some quality EA games come over. I really hope we get a real FIFA game at some point instead of just an updated roster thing. I hope Sims is one of those. I think SimCity as well would be a really great franchise on the Switch, and there's so many other great
Star Wars.
games. Yeah, all the Star Wars stuff. Like there's so many great things that can come over, and
Madden,
so yeah. I mean, we talked about Madden, on the last podcast, how perfect that could be to be able to take to parties and have on the go, but also play on your TV and stuff too. So yeah, there's a lot of money out there to be had, and that EA. I hope you're actually accurate with this, and you do want to make games with us or for us, and want to make money from us, because I think you haven't lost completely, but you're on the fence. So let's talk about one last thing that it is not late breaking news, but pretty recent. that I just found out, and I think Barry, you just found out recently as well today. A little company called Loot Crate. Which is not necessarily, it's not a Nintendo company. They don't make games or anything like that. They have a lot of Nintendo franchises and stuff. It's one of those there's so many out there, but it was one of the first, maybe even the first of those boxes that you can subscribe to and get a bunch of kind of nerd culture kind of stuff. And a lot of times that had to do with video games. And you basically get, I think it's like a monthly, I think it's a monthly subscription. You get this monthly box in there and you don't know what you're going to get. The kind of themes and stuff like that. And it's kind of just a cool, like, Christmas gift throughout the year, birthday gifts throughout the year. It's kind of a cool thing. But apparently, just a few days ago, they filed for bankruptcy. So, Barry, what do you think about that?
I think it was bound to happen. I'm not a big Loot Crate person. I know, like, New York Comic Con, every year they have a big booth with a ton of exclusive crates, and people rush it. I mean, I've seen mad dashes to the Loot Crate booth. So this year's New York Comic Con should be interesting. It'll probably just be liquidation booth, boxes like, here, just get rid of our stuff. But my wife is subscribed to their Firefly crate. She loves Firefly. And the first year, great. And then they started year 2 and they sent maybe 2 boxes. Then it went a good 5 months with no box. So then they sent her 2 boxes full of the best stuff from Loot Crate as an apology, which was a bunch of random crap, including duplicates. There were duplicates in the same box. It was just hurriedly thrown together, and still had the audacity to charge her for the Firefly crate that she was not getting. She had to call up and be like, no, I'm not paying for this crap. I don't want any of this crap. This is garbage. And they refunded her and just told her to keep it because they didn't want it back. They were just trying to give it away and trying to scam it on people. So it's great. Now we have all this random crap we don't need. And
hey, you got shelves for it though.
I think she wound up selling it to the people at cost. You're $5. Just get. I would rather see it go to good homes. But it was just one of those things where they it doesn't surprise me. They grew too big, and it was impossible to please everybody. And that's the problem with these random things. It's like a Christmas gift, but it's almost like or a birthday gift. But it's like getting a birthday gift from someone that doesn't know you or knows really what you like, and is just giving you stuff that you don't care about. But they forget to put the gift receipt in there, so you can't even return it. But instead in that birthday gift is a bill, and you actually have to now pay them for the crappy gift they just gave you. Yeah. That's Loot Crate.
Yeah, I don't think my grandma watches this, but it's basically like I still get a stocking for my grandma every Christmas, and that's basically what the stuff in my stocking is every year. But I don't have to pay her, at least. I had to pay for my ticket, I guess, to fly there and see her. But that's pretty much what it is every year. We're like, why would I ever want? Does she even know me? But that's pretty much what you're saying. Yeah. I'm glad that I didn't subscribe. But it's interesting. I've been seeing a lot of times too. I think Amazon has been advertising a lot of the subscription boxes that've been 50% off recently and stuff too. So I wonder, are we going to see the downfall of all these companies? Can they really keep that stuff up, or they made a quick buck? They got rid of a bunch of stuff, and hey, it's time to move on. We made some money. At least maybe Loot Crate stayed in it too long. Maybe these other companies need to see the writing on the wall and say, all right, time to cut our losses and move on. We made a few $1,000. Let's try something else.
They're trying to sell it right now. Money Chest is promising a $10 million loan to help the company keep afloat during the bankruptcy. It's expected to sell quickly. Whether it does or not, we don't know. For customers who currently have a Loot Crate subscription, you shouldn't see a disruption. They should, it's not like, oh my god, I'm not going to get my crate next month and I'm a subscriber. You should still get it. With Chapter 11 bankruptcy is not the doors are instantly closed, goodbye. It's just a restructuring process. So you'll still get your monthly crap for at least for the foreseeable future. But this is definitely, like I said, the writing on the wall. A restructure does have to happen. I think people are getting tired. Like it was a neat thing at first, but there's only so many pairs of socks, or so many mugs, or so many weird random statues of things you don't even really remotely care about because it just fits the theme of the month. People don't have a lot of room,
right?
Right. It's just a lot of it is cheap. A lot of it's like dumb things. I mean, the best thing that my wife got out of the whole 2 boxes that she got from those was a Banjo-Kazooie license plate that kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll keep this. Sure.
Yeah.
Like the Firefly crates were good. She enjoyed those. The specific ones seemed to be better, but the general, like this month is heroes, and you get a bunch of random stuff from different heroes that you don't even care about.
Right.
And it's stupid. Like here's a pin, and here's a button, and here's a little bobblehead, and I don't care about this. What am I going to do with this? And you look on eBay, and it's like filled with loot crate crap that people are just trying to get rid of.
Yeah, just trying to make up their money. Yeah, it's better, probably, I'd say for most people, it's probably just better to save your money and buy the stuff you want.
Yes. Yeah, if you see something in a Loot Crate box you want, go to eBay. I'm sure you can find someone who doesn't care about it for $5.
Yeah, for sure.
It's as simple as that.
Oh, wow. One of the last things I wanted to mention, I got an email just earlier. Nintendo sent out, actually just a couple hours ago now. But I think there's a big thing this weekend with Fire Emblem, Three Houses, and Tetris 99. I think a big thing going on, a free event for Switch owners that begins on August 23rd through August 26th. So I know people like Greg are going to enjoy that because he's a big Fire Emblem fan as well. Will this get you to play Tetris at all this weekend?
It's not going to get me to play Tetris.
Probably me either. I like the Game Boy theme thing. That was cool. I played that that was just a couple hours, won the theme, and that was all. But that was the last time I think I played Tetris 99. It's a fun game, but it's a Fire Emblem themed activity is not going to get me to go back for sure.
I played Fire Emblem, believe it or not. I almost booted it up, but I went for Azure Striker instead. Nice. Greg will be like, no.
Oh, man. It's been great to talk games with you guys tonight. You guys in the chat with you as well as Barry. We've had some great conversations in the chat. Some of it just too much to even refer to all of it. It's just been some really cool conversations there. People talking about games and, upset about EA and even talking about Family Guy there for a little bit. So we love talking games with you guys. And if you have not joined our Discord, if you've not followed us on social media, be sure to do that. Just search for @NintendoFuse on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our Discord link is in the show notes and the description down below. So make sure you check that out and subscribe, hit that bell, all that fun stuff. And that'd just be awesome if you share it with some other Nintendo fans out there. Barry, what are you looking forward to playing over the next couple weeks? There's some good games. I know there's some games that you're excited about. There's games I'm excited about. Some of those are crossing over. What are you hoping to play the next couple weeks?
I'm hoping to get through Azure Gunvolt 1 and 2. And then after that, who knows? Maybe I'll try Cat Quest. But I got to try to keep my window open until the 29th because I believe that's when Astral Train comes out. And also another game's coming out actually before that. I hope to be able to play it before Astral Chain, and that's Oninaki, which I actually played through the demo of. I forgot to mention that. I played through the demo of this. I've been looking for this game since it was shown off. I absolutely love the demo. It's one of those demos that the progress carries over into the main game, which I absolutely love. I think this is the greatest demos. But here's the caveat. The game in America is digital only. In Asia and Japan is getting a physical, and then Square Enix announced a European exclusive on their site, but not to NA store. NA refused to comment to me. EU's store told me they will not ship to America, and that I had to buy it from a scalper if I wanted it. They literally told me to buy from a scalper. Like, terrible. They refused my money. So I have a friend over in Europe who is getting the game. once he gets the game, he's going to be shipping it to me. So I have to wait for it to get over here to play the game I want, because Square Enix North America refuses to put the game out physical, and Square Enix Europe refuses to take my money and ship it to me. It's a whole mess, but I am looking forward to Oninagi very, very much. So
They've been having some conversations with NOA.
And seriously, NOA and Square need to get, and Crapcom. The three of us need to come into a room, the three of you with me, and we need to have a discussion because you're all failing right now.
And even EA, throw EA in there as well. Hey, do you all
EA
want
is
money?
Doing better.
Do you want any money from me or not?
It's bad, but no, I look forward to that. And Astral Chain, of course, are my big ones. Dragalia Lost. Rerunning the Valentine's event, which is kind of weird, but I missed some stuff from that, so I'm really happy about that. And that game has been going strong. They've been supporting it. I love that they're constantly doing stuff with that, and I think Nintendo and Cygames have a real gem on their hands, and I'm hoping by next E3 we see an actual Dragalia Lost Switch title.
Cool. Hey, Rad is coming out tomorrow. Nintendo has been playing that up a lot. Are you interested at all? I'm not sure. I'm still on the fence.
I'm interested in the concept. I think it looks great. Yeah. I love Double Fine. I'd be more interested with the physical. I think that's Bandai Namco is publishing that, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah.
I think they've been advertising like an Instagram, and it shows like in the bottom left corner, it shows like boxes, and I keep messaging them. I'm like, are you putting this physical? And I don't think it is. I think they're just teasing us.
Yeah.
But physical, I would totally get it, and I would probably play it. Digital, I don't have time for that. Just for Jakester, no time.
Just for Jakester. Back to No Time Barry. Yeah. And truck racing, of course, you gotta be playing some truck racing championship. Yeah.
I have a funny story about truck racing.
Oh. Yeah. I thought I was just randomly bringing it up.
No.
Segue.
Truck racing is one of those that at first it was announced for Europe only. So I'm like, oh, cool, I'll get it, because I'm going for the full English set. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get it. So Amazon Europe has it, because Amazon Europe actually ships, or Amazon UK actually ships to Americas. Take note, Square Enix UK. So they put it up, and I pre-ordered it. And when it shipped, I noticed it actually said, because it's called something different, it's like FIE truck racing. It said the truck racing parentheses Xbox One, and it showed the picture for the Switch version. So I emailed them. Now I contacted them to chat, because I can't call Europe. So I'm sitting there in chat, and I'm talking to them. I'm like, am I getting the Xbox One version, or am I getting the Switch version? And the woman's like, oh, no, you're totally getting the Switch version. That's just a mistake. Don't worry. So I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Then I found out it's coming out in America, and I'm like, oh, man, now I don't want to double dip. So I get my package, and I still have it here. It's still sitting here next to this. Amazon Europe. Inside this package, now I'm opening this. This is what I get. For all you people watching, you can see this. You see this? This is not a Switch title. This is the Xbox One version. You can see the PEGI on it. You can see it's called FIA, European Truck Racing over there. This is the UK title. So an Xbox One isn't
Did you try to put it in your Switch yet?
No, I did not. So now I had to contact Amazon. Again, I can't call them.
Yeah.
And the first person tells me that I could send it back to them, and as a bonus, I don't have to pay return shipping. Wow, what a bonus. What a waste of my time. So while I'm trying to escalate, because I was lied to by this rep, they hang up on me. They disconnect the chat. So then I get another person who immediately is like, I'm going to send you a return label, and disconnects the chat. I'm like, really? Now the third person tells me that the game didn't come out yet. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't have the game. The tracking says it hasn't been delivered yet. I'm like, no, I have the game, dude. It's right here in my hands. I have the game. He's like, no, you don't. So I said, do I have to take a picture and prove it to you? He's like, yes. So I took a picture. I sent it to customer support at Amazon. Here's the game. I wanted to put my middle finger in the picture, but I didn't. So now he's like, okay, we can't do anything yet because the game doesn't show as being delivered. We can't even create a return label. I'm like, but two previous people did. can I speak to your manager? He'll tell you the same thing, sir. I'm like, no.
If you don't have the game, then they shouldn't charge you for it.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
I said, no, let me speak to your manager. I almost said, like, can I beat you over the head with this non-existent game? Like, would I get in trouble for that? You know, it doesn't exist. So then I talked to a manager, and the manager was just like, I'm so sorry. They aren't supposed to act like that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to refund you. We're going to give you $20 credit. Keep the game. We don't care what you do with it. We're so sorry. Oh my God. He's going to get a stern talking to. That is not how we do things at Amazon. I am so sorry. So I am actually getting truck racing on Switch, the American version.
And you have the Xbox version.
And I have the Xbox One European version.
The reason to boot
I
up
don't
your
have
actually
to do.
Can you even play is Xbox One?
I don't think Xbox One is even region free. I can't do anything with it.
Oh well.
Yeah. So see, you mentioned truck racing, and
I had no idea. That's insane. That's
the struggles you go through as a physical collector.
Oh, that's probably gonna be one of those stories that I just think about later on tonight. And I'm just gonna start dying laughing. My wife's gonna be like, "What are you laughing for? You won't even." But you just need to listen to the end of the podcast for Barry's story.
Oh, it is. I can't make this stuff up. And this is legit my life I go through.
Oh wow! Well, you have to tell me how a truck racer championship is after all that. Yeah, I'm excited about Grid. I don't know if I'll get it right away when it comes out. All we know is summer in 2019, so we don't even have a date. But it's summer's running out, so at some point we'll be getting it. Astral Train is another game I'm very interested in. Clearly, we talked about this before. I don't know if I'm going to get it day one, but it'd be down the line for sure. Because there's so many games coming out in September that Zelda alone is going to be taking up a lot of my time. So I'm like, do I want to get it now, or do I want to save it for later? I'm not sure yet. Spyro's another one, the Reignited trilogy, coming out actually the same day as our podcast. Our next podcast is September 2nd, and so that's going to be coming out the same day. So I'm not going to be here for the podcast, but I'll be playing Spyro instead. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's a couple cool games coming out over the next couple weeks. Even cooler games, I think, in my opinion, coming out in September. It's going to be a fun but busy next several weeks of games for sure. But yeah, we will be back on September 2nd for episode 182. Like, we are inching closer and closer to the 200 episode, and in a few weeks it's going to be here before we know it. We're going to be celebrating a little milestone of the NintendoFuse podcast, so do make sure that you are here for I believe we'll probably be doing that there's actually 5 Mondays in September, and so it'll be probably the final Monday of September. I think it's the 30th, I think, as well. We'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary as the NintendoFuse Podcast. 10 years. Like, Barry, you've been here for like 8 of them, right? Almost like...
Nah, not 8.
That many?
I've been here for about 5.
5? Okay. I feel like you've been around longer. Not a bad thing.
No. You know what?
Like, that could go either way, but like, I mean, it's a good way.
No, I think 2013, I think, is when I started. Maybe 2012. Maybe it's just been longer. Maybe it's been 6-7 years. I don't know. It's been a while.
It's been a while. I remember like when you started, I was like, I think we've lived in 4 places since you started. I remember having some conversations. I was in the basement of one of the apartments we were in at the time.
I think the first podcast I was on was 92, which is when I called in. Mm-hmm. And then I think 94, 95 was my first official start, and I've been on everyone but one since. So almost 100 podcasts with only missing one, I think.
That's true.
And it was our anniversary. It was my wedding anniversary. That's why I missed it.
Yeah. I guess it's like okay excuse, but our anniversary, our NintendoFuse podcast anniversary is coming up. So make sure you do tune in every week, but especially tune in that time. And we'll have some special stuff. We gotta still put some ideas together and everything too. And if you have any thoughts of some cool stuff that we could do, make sure you throw them in the chat. Tell us in the comments, or even better yet, join our Discord and kind of give us some ideas of what you would like to see on our 10th anniversary special.
Speaking of Discord, you should talk about the giveaway we have.
Oh, that is very true. If you have not joined our Discord, be sure to do so. A couple of podcasts ago, we gave away a digital code for Team Sonic Racing, and I got another one. So we're doing a little contest in Discord. As soon as we reach 100 members in our Discord, we're gonna give away the code to a random person. So invite your friends, get other people in our Discord. We have been growing. We pretty much like tripled our membership over the last since the last podcast. I think maybe 2 weeks ago we were at like maybe 20 people, and now we're around 60, probably getting closer to 70 as we speak. So make sure that you do invite people. And as I said, as soon as we hit the 100 people mark, I'll throw that out there, and we'll give a game code away. And we're gonna keep doing some fun stuff like that, and keep up the membership and just the fun stuff that's going on in our Discord. So yeah, make sure you guys join and share that with other people, and invite other people as well. So, man, Barry, it's always great to talk to Nintendo games with you, gaming in general. Yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight?
Just thank you to everybody who has joined us tonight. Thank you everybody who listens afterwards. We appreciate you all. Thank you to everybody in the Discord, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Everybody who's just been a part of NintendoFuse and part of our journey. We do appreciate everybody, and we want to keep bringing you guys awesome new content. We want to bring you guys awesome new giveaways like the Team Sonic Racing, like Play NYC tickets, and none of that would be possible without all of you. So thank you to everybody, and I look forward to next time.
Yep, for sure. And happy birthday, Greg! Even though you're not here,
birthday, Greg.
Happy birthday, Greg!
Can't forget that.
Yes, yeah. Throw your birthday greetings to Greg down in the comments. That'd be awesome. So, all right, cool. Thanks, Barry. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.